Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about food plot screening and why it's so crucial that you need it so that big mature bucks feel secure and safe on your property so they'll step out on your food plot during shooting hours so you can get that buck that you're after. Right here, I've just drawn a little illustration of what I have going on one of my properties. This is a 6 acre field. Mind you, this is not to scale, but I have a 6 acre field and about an acre and a quarter of food plot. And what I did is on the south side of it, I've been planting Egyptian wheat in the past, and I have a blind here, and I've created a little Egyptian wheat wall here as well. Then I can park out here, walk in, and this keeps this food plot nice and secure. As big mature bucks do not like big open spaces. They don't want to see 100, 200 yards during the day. They're not coming out into that. You got to keep your food plots tighter. You don't want to cross it up and do a bunch of different grids. Deer don't like that either. Deer will avoid that as well. But if you can break off a section, and I created a holding plot here where deer will come out right before dark, and for gun season it's great because I have a big clover brassica mix, and they'll hit this, and then they'll head down into the ag land, which is corn or soybeans, rotating every year. Um, but yeah, so you want food plot screening on all your food plots if it's in an open field. You don't want big open fields because you will not get big bucks to walk out into that typically unless it's like the dead middle of the rut and they're on a hot doe. But then you're relying on a week or two to, seal the deal with a deer versus, a bigger chunk of the season. Um, so let's get into types of food plot screening. I've had a lot of success and experience with Egyptian wheat and sorghum. I put them in there kind of as the same thing. They are very similar. They are different technically, but they can be planted similarly and they work great. They get really tall. You do sometimes need to do a little nitrogen on them to really help them boost and grow, but I have also not done it and I've had success with them too. Um, but they get real tall, like anywhere from 8 to 10 feet tall, especially the Egyptian wheat. The sorghum maybe is more like 6 to 8 feet, but deer's head is down. I'm 6'1", so deer's head's down here, for the most part. So sorghum's great, Egyptian wheat's great. It's annual, so that's the one drawback is you got to plant it every year. So it's great if you just got on a property or you don't have a long-term goal with the property, it's a lease, or you don't know if you're going to be hunting there for a long time. Egyptian wheat is a great way to get a screen in that season, so you got it. You usually plant it in early June, mid-June, and then it's good to go by the time October rolls around, and it's tall, and it usually holds up pretty good. Sometimes big ice or snowstorms can knock it down, or heavy rains, but even when I've had some knocked down, it knocked down part of it, but for the most part it held up pretty well. And you want to plant like about a 20-foot thick wall of it. That kind of helps it stand up too. You don't want to plant like a little 3-foot row and think it's going to hold up to the elements. You got to plant it wider, and that way it supports itself. Switchgrass, which I'm actually going to be switching to this year, on this particular food plot. It's perennial. It comes back every year. It does take a few years to establish, so that is the one drawback. In the first year you plant it, you're not going to get much out of it, maybe 2 feet, and in your second year you're maybe going to get 3 or 4 feet. And you do need to mow it to keep weeds down sometimes. So there's a little more maintenance up front, but once it comes in and it's established, it's great, and it grows to about 4 to 6 feet tall every year. Usually more like 6 feet tall once it's hit that 3-4 year mark. Deer can't see over that; their heads are lower, and it's just once you got it, it's there to stay, and it's awesome. So I think I will probably be switching this food plot over to a switchgrass this year, and possibly even one of my other spots as well. So that's if you got a few more years, that could work great. Or you could layer it. You could do Egyptian wheat, and then behind that, you could do a 20-foot strip of Egyptian wheat, and then behind that, you could do a 20, 30-foot strip of switchgrass. So then you're kind of planning for the future. That's a great option. But then Beyond that, we have another grass would be mantis grass. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I know it does work. I hear a lot of guys talk about it. That's something to check out. But then if you have a lot more time, like 5, 6 years plus, Norwegian spruces are great. They grow fast. If you get them when they're saplings, it does take a little while to really get them to grow in, and you got to kind of plant them, on a pretty checkerboard like kind of pattern to really get them thick in there, 10 to 15 feet apart. You probably got to kind of do an offset, um, double, triple row, where you're kind of offsetting them. But, and like I said, 5 to 6 years on that. But once they come in, they're a great option too. So it really just depends on your timeline. If you're strapped for time, Egyptian wheat, sorghum, definitely the way to go. If you want to kind of do a longer plant system, like I said, layer in some Egyptian wheat for the first year, switchgrass behind it. Or if you don't want to mess with the wheat, just go to switchgrass. So it really depends on you, your timeline, how long you got the property, do you own it, is it a lease, all that good stuff. But I can't stress how important it is to have a type of screening for your food plots, especially in an open field. It's one thing if you got a kill plot back in the woods and it's a little eighth of an acre and it's surrounded, that's not as big of a deal. But if you're talking a field, you got to have a screen. Big bucks don't like wide open spaces. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope this is helpful for you, and I hope you guys find success in your future hunting seasons.